Let's talk about how tutors, advisors, or staff members can enter information about their experiences with students. The two primary methods for doing that are session notes and session questionnaires. I'm logged in here to AccuSQL as an administrator, and I'm going to click on Session Log, and then the Setup tab. We have a few setup options for taking session information. Enable tutors to view others' comments. If that is checked, that means any tutor, advisor, or staff member can see notes taken by other tutors, advisors, or staff members. If not, they'll only see their own notes. Disable ability to update log after X hours. So if you want the tutor or advisor to collect that information while it's still fresh in their mind, you can disable their ability to take notes after a certain period of time and show student ID or not on the session log screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is log in as a student and pick a staff member, a tutor. Now, I use those terms interchangeably because you can change the terminology in the software. But let's return back to the sign-in screen and sign in with a student ID. And I'll come in for math class. Let's say calculus. There's my professor. And I'm going to pick Cindy Bright. I sign in. In this case, I'm asking them if they want the professor to get the report of their visit or not. And now Mike is signed in. Now Mike is having his session with Cindy. And once he's done, then he'll sign out. And I've got a feedback survey here. These are all optional, of course. And continue on. And I have now a tutor evaluation survey with 3 required fields. And now Mike is signed out. Okay, so now on the same station or a different station, a tutor can sign in with their ID. So I'll sign in as Cindy. And then in my tutor pad, I have something called Session Log. When I click on that, it shows all of my various sessions for whatever period. Now, I've pinned the period to this week, but you can expand that or change it or change your pin if you'd like to. But I'm looking at all of my sessions for me, Cindy Bright, for this week. I didn't have the capacity for tutors to see session notes from all other tutors. But then I can merely go in and add whatever notes I'd like for my various students. And I can save my comment. If I'd like to email that comment directly to the professor or instructor, I can do so. Now, the instructor would have to have an email entered in the system. If they didn't have one, then you could manually enter their email address. But I just sent that session log to the professor. Now, the next thing I can do is enter a session questionnaire. Now, this is a predefined form that your tutors and advisors can use to collect information about their experience with the student. So now I've completed that, and I've taken my session log information and my session questionnaire. Now let's go back. I forgot to show you where to set up the session questionnaire, so let's go do that real quickly. Back in as administrator, in session log, right here I have something called session questionnaire setup. Okay, so these are the questions that I've defined that we just saw back on the session questionnaire screen the tutor accessed. So basically you enter your questions, you make them required or not, then you can put the answers for each of the questions. Okay, so that's where that's set up. Now I'd like to turn on the intake system real quickly to show you how session notes and session information is collected from the Quick Panel. That's a piece of software that's available for AccuTrack and Accu2015. It's primarily used for advisors or staff members to have access to all of their daily work all in one place. Okay, so let's go turn that on. And you don't have to have the intake system on in order to use the Quick Panel, but I want to walk you through the whole process. So here in waiting options, I'm going to click intake system on. And now let's sign in another student. I can see there's my intake system button. And this one has late media. Okay, so let's say that Laura is coming in for college trig. Her professor is Sarah Smith. And I'll pick Cindy Bright. Okay, so now Laura Alvarez is in line and waiting to be called. Now let's assume for a second that I'm now an advisor or tutor, and I'm back on my computer now. This one's the main sign-in screen. Now I'm logging into my advisor PC as Cindy Bright. And now I see Laura Alvarez is waiting for me. Now if I had more people waiting, I could click all waiting. It would show everyone waiting. But now what I can do is sign Laura in and do that here. So now Laura is in my signed in screen with me, Cindy, for college trig. I'm having my session now with Laura. I can double click on this sign in and see all of the session notes for Laura here. And I can enter my session questionnaire answers directly from my quick panel. Now, back over onto Accu2015, let's go look at what reports I'm generating by doing this. So in session log, reports, I have session log questionnaire, and summary. So let's take a look at these. Let's do this week. So here are my session notes for each of the various logins for this week. Here's the session questionnaire. And this one's kind of a nice report because it's not only session questionnaire, it's the session questionnaire answers with the comments included. And then finally, I forgot to mention, in the session questionnaire, you can give weighted answers. So if we go look at this, I can assign weights to the various answers, and then I can determine the average answer. So if 3 is the highest and 1 is the lowest, depending on how the students answer, I can come up with the average of each question. Was student prepared in this case? Back to reports, let's go look at that one. Session questionnaire summary. And as you can see, was student prepared? 32 said yes, 5 said no, 1 partially. So this is the total count, this is the unique count, and then this is the weighted average.